This case takes place in London, England, on the 25th of September 2020. Matt Ratana was born on the 3rd of May 1966 in the Hawke's Bay region of New Zealand and came from a proud Maori heritage. After graduating in 1989, he moved to the United Kingdom when he was in his 20s, and shortly after settling in the UK, he decided to join the Metropolitan Police force in 1991. A little later on, he moved back to New Zealand for a couple of years. He served with the New Zealand Police Force, joining the British High Commission Wing in 2003, and worked in Auckland City before returning to the UK in 2008. During his career, he also served as a protection officer for Princess Diana, the Queen Mother, and the former Prime Minister John Major. Over nearly 3 decades, Matt served with distinction, becoming a well-respected figure within the force. At the time of this case taking place, Matt was just 3 months away from retiring from the police. The end of a lifelong commitment to public service was on the horizon, and Matt was looking forward to the next chapter of his life. But tragically, this would never happen. Matt was described as an immensely popular and charismatic man. He also had a great passion for rugby.
East Grinstead Rugby Football Club. I'm Matt Ratner, head coach.
He played for the London Irish Amateurs and other clubs across England. As he got older, he turned to coaching. He coached his local team and was well respected by the players. He coached many young people and was a big inspiration to them. On the 24th of September 2020, Matt started his day like any other. He coached his beloved rugby team before starting work, which should have been a routine night shift as a custody sergeant at the Croydon police station. The day started as normal, but in the early hours of September the 25th, a man by the name of Louis de Soysa was walking in London. However, he was noted as acting in a rather suspicious manner. The police spotted Louis and decided to stop and search him. For the most part, Louis complied.
I'm going to detain you under Section 1 of the Police Criminal Evidence Act, okay? The reason for that is there's a lot of burglaries in this area, and I've just seen you walk. You can just keep your hands out your pockets for now. I'll take it and have a look in a minute, all right? The reason is there's a lot of burglaries in this area, okay? It's 1:30 in the morning. I don't know who you are. You've probably got a totally legitimate excuse, all right? But at the moment, you're walking down the road with a duffel bag, all right? Which I believe may have stuff going to equipped to do a burglary, all right? So I'm just going to search you.
In this pocket, I've got my ID.
Perfect. Okay, that's fine. Don't put your hands in your pockets. Hey, hello. Don't put your hands in your pockets. Okay. You okay? You're just going to be searched, mate. You're not under arrest. I just need to search you. You okay? All right. Just a bit nervous, yeah?
My parents, please.
Okay. Are they expecting you home? Okay, that's fine. All right. That's fine.
You could be 2 seconds. You could be 2 seconds. Do you want me to hold that? It's alright. You're not in trouble. You're not in trouble. So my colleagues just explained. He was just going to quickly search you, see if you've got anything, and then you're going to be gone. This is all being recorded on body worn camera. Okay? You're not in trouble. My colleagues just said a few of the grounds, and he was just going to quickly search you, and you're free to go.
Okay.
You're entitled to a copy of the slip. Okay?
I'm going to confess, okay?
Yeah.
In that bag is non-medical. I've got maybe 3 or so grams.
Okay. All right. Obviously, they're trying to hurt police officers.
Okay.
All right.
Can you take me into the car, please?
Why? Don't resist. Listen to me very carefully.
I know.
Don't resist.
Okay, we'll put you in the car, but put the handcuffs in first, yeah?
Okay.
Is it someone's watching us? Or?
No, take the bag, please. Thank you.
Why do you want us to sit you in the car?
Just worried, please.
Why? Why are you worried?
Just.
You think your parents might see?
No.
Don't put your hands in your pockets. Don't do that again. Do you understand? Do you understand? That's the 3rd time you've done that, and I've told you not to. Next time, listen to me, next time you're going to be handcuffed to the back. All right? 3 times I've asked you. You speak perfectly good English. Stop doing it.
It's for our safety as well, because we don't know reaching in for your pocket.
Inside is my. If you open,
Received.
you'll see my ID, which has my address.
At the moment, I've tried to do you a favour by taking you off the street. You've not told me why. I'm just saving you a little bit of embarrassment. Now you've reached into... Stop talking. You've now reached into your pockets 3 times I've told you not to, right? You've now told me you've got drugs on you when I thought you might have had some sort of tool on you to burgle someone's house. So now I'm going to search you stood right here, all right? Because I don't know what else you've got on you, and I think there's more to this story than you're letting on. Okay, so I asked you earlier, I'm not too sure what the answer was. Have you got anything on you like sharp that can hurt me or you?
See what it is. It's not real.
I believe we might do some paperwork. Stop. How many canisters?
Yeah. Canisters.
Oh.
Right, at the moment, I'm
Right.
placing you under arrest
Okay.
for possession of what I believe to be bullets. All right.
Yeah, receipt.
Just hold his jacket up for me.
We're changing to handcuffs to rear.
Yeah, definitely.
Mind your hands, darling, I'm going to close this door, alright?
During the search, officers found ammunition and illegal substances in his coat. He was subsequently arrested after being patted down, and he was taken to the station where Matt was working as a custody sergeant. Despite the arrest and the initial spot search, the police failed to uncover a deadly weapon, a revolver. Louis was actually able to conceal an antique revolver in an underarm holster. This oversight would prove to be a critical error, and one that should have been avoided. Louis was a 23-year-old former tax office data analyst. Someone who once knew Louis stated that he was a reclusive person who used to brag about being on the dark web. He also had a weird obsession with weapons. His possession of the revolver was legally acquired due to its antique status. The antique revolver was a Colt 41 model 1895 Navy double action and was hidden under his armpit. The footage captured the moment when Matt approached to assist in a further search of Louis.
Pass on. Okay, listen to me. My name's Matt, I'm the custody officer, right? I'm in charge. I'm not involved in the investigation. You've been arrested on suspicion of possession of bullets, ammunition and possession of intent to supply. Class B, anything else?
That's it.
Alright, your detention's not been authorised yet, but I can authorise a search of you under section 54 of PACE. Stand up. Mate, you were good enough to...
As Matt walks towards him, in a flash, Louis was able to pull out the antique revolver and managed to unload a number of shots. He fired a shot into Matt's chest. Matt fell to the ground. The other 2 officers who were present in the room immediately jumped to action and wrestled Louis to the floor. A struggle ensued, with Louis eventually being subdued by the officers. In the struggle, 3 further shots were fired, with Louis shooting himself in the neck. Matt was given immediate medical attention. He was taken to hospital at 2:15 a.m. For 2 hours he fought for his life, and the doctors did everything they could to save him. But tragically, Matt was pronounced dead at 4:20 a.m. Due to the injuries he suffered, Louis was taken to hospital too. He later suffered a stroke which left him paralysed down one side of his body with significant brain injuries. His condition was stabilised in the hospital, and his injuries were no longer life-threatening, but doctors believed it was unlikely he would ever fully recover. Due to his medical conditions, he was not arrested for murder right away, as he was found not mentally or physically fit enough to plead or receive and give legal instructions. The ensuing investigation unveiled a cascade of failures. Louis had previously been referred to the Prevent program, an anti-extremist initiative crafted by the government to deter individuals from affiliating with extremist groups. Somehow, Louis managed to slip through the cracks. After he was evaluated, he was deemed as posing no threat. A senior coroner by the name of Sarah Ormond Walsh would later emphasize the gravity of the situation, stating, "There was a failure to carry out a safe, thorough, and systematic search. This failure, according to her ruling, left Matt vulnerable to a tragic and avoidable murder." You may be wondering how it's even possible that Louis was able to pull a weapon from the armpit when his hands were handcuffed behind his back. Well, it came to light that he had hypermobility, which enables him to bend and stretch in unusual ways. He managed to take the revolver from the holster while in the police van they put him in. It is believed that he took the gun into his right hand around 15 minutes before he shot Matt, and then placed it in a slot in his overcoat to hide it. The news of an officer being killed in such a way inside a police station swept the nation. Firearm deaths in the United Kingdom are relatively rare, and an officer being shot inside a police station was literally unheard of. Before this, no officer had ever been killed inside a police station. Tributes were paid to Matt by his family, friends, and former colleagues. The police commissioner described Matt as a leader. The memorial for Matt was held at a chapel, but due to the restrictions that were in place at the time, only a limited number of close ones were allowed to attend. His funeral was live-streamed, so people around the world, including his relatives in New Zealand, could be a part of the service. Louis was officially arrested on the 13th of November 2020, after he was considered well enough, though still requiring hospital treatment. The trial was held at Northampton Crown Court and unfolded with the presentation of the distressing CCTV footage, which provided an account of the shooting. The defense argued that Louis was on the autistic spectrum, and that during the shooting, Louis was undergoing an autistic meltdown. The defense argued that because of this, Louis did not possess the intent to kill Matt, and thus he should not be found guilty of murder. This defense would be a central point of contention throughout the trial. On the 23rd of June 2023, Louis was convicted of murder after the trial reached its conclusion. A High Court judge sentenced him to life imprisonment with a whole life tariff on the 27th of July 2023. This sentence means that Louis will spend the rest of his life in prison without the possibility of parole, something that is rather rare in the UK. Only a handful of other cases have resulted in such a sentence. Louis' motives for carrying the firearm and discharging it at Matt remain somewhat unclear. So why exactly did Louis have a weapon on him that night? Well, it's believed that Louis was intending on either killing or seriously harming his father. This was something that was brought forward during the trial by the prosecution. Louis and his father had a terrible relationship. The place where Louis was stopped and searched was relatively close to his parents' address. However, he was no longer living at the address. Throughout much of the trial, Louis' answers were confined to one-word answers and relied on a whiteboard to communicate. But when he was asked about his father, he suddenly became animated, talking about how he had been beaten for even the most trivial things for most of his life. Louis drew a picture of himself trying to protect himself from his father, whom he accused of once pulling a knife on a member of the family. And over the years, the police were called to these incidents, and Louis' father was arrested in relation to these attacks. Allegedly, over the years, Louis was mercilessly beaten by his father, but as Louis grew older, he began to fight back. He admitted to battering his father with a metal rod and kicking him off his bike in 2019. Whether or not he was going to kill his father that night is open to speculation, as plans of that night have never been established, as he told no one beforehand, and now brain damaged through his own self-inflicted gun wound, he is no longer able to explain what exactly he was going to do. On the 13th of November 2023, an inquest into the death of Sergeant Matt Ratner affirmed that he was unlawfully killed, citing failures in the searching and observations conducted on Louis. The fact that ammunition was found in Louis' pocket and the police failed to find a firearm that was concealed under his armpit is something that is inexcusable. The Metropolitan Police expressed its condolences to Matt, his partner Sue, his family and colleagues, acknowledging the impact of the appalling act of violence that claimed his life. Matt's partner Sue expressed her anger and frustration, asserting that Matt's death should have been prevented. In a statement outside Croydon Town Hall, Sue addressed the media, highlighting the serious failings in the search and transportation of Louis. She conveyed her disappointment in the police officers' shoddy and inadequate search, describing it as neglect of their duty that ultimately left Matt vulnerable to murder. She stressed that if the proper procedures had been followed, Matt would still be alive today and would be enjoying his retirement.
I think the bravery of those two officers at that point in time is something that none of us can ever quite put ourselves in that position. I know, having spoken to them, the thoughts about the consequences of they not having found the firearm on the street itself, but going back to search Dezoiser again at the police station is something which I'm sure will never leave them. Never leave them. This is a tragedy that will never disappear for Matt's partner Sue and his family, and of course the impact on my colleagues, both officers and staff, is something that I'm sure will be with them throughout not just their professional lives, but also their personal lives.
PC Richard Davey admitted to abandoning his training during the search, leading to the failure to discover the weapon in Louis' possession. In the custody van, Louis was seen manipulating the firearm, indicating a crucial moment when the firearm should have been identified. Independent investigations scrutinized the events surrounding the murder. While they found no evidence of misconduct or criminal offences by the officers involved, they did identify opportunities for improvement in body searching and detainee transportation. Recommendations were made for the implementation of handheld metal detectors in police vehicles and the adaptation of safety measures. The murder of Matt shows the risks faced by law enforcement in the line of duty. At this current moment in time, Louis is preparing to challenge his whole life sentence, and has even claimed that he never intended to even shoot Matt. The death of Matt has deeply affected his many friends and colleagues. One friend of Matt said, "Matt had a way of just making things better. He had a presence about him that he would just deal with things. People were never scared of him. You were always in awe of him. If the world was full of people like Matt, it would be a better place." Another colleague remembers the first time she met Matt. She said, "He sort of bounded up like a happy Cocker Spaniel puppy and introduced himself. Once you've met Matt, you can't forget him. He was a sort of louder version of a human." Following the death of Matt, the Matt Ratner Rugby Foundation was set up in his honour. The foundation have said they will work to build a legacy worthy of his memory, and described Matt as an inspirational leader, teacher and friend. And as I said earlier, Matt became the first police officer to be killed inside a British police station.